gonna take a minute just to get some things set up here on my end, but I'm excited to see the second game of the season get ready to take off. We got the Cleveland Browns here in the battle of the quarterback saviors. So same draft. It'll be interesting to see how Baker Mayfield compares to Sam Darnold over the course of us running through this franchise season. We know that they're pretty much equipped much better off roster wise, top down, from defense to offense. So, all things considered, Sam Darnold actually had a pretty decent game for the season. We have some injuries and stuff to take a look at, see if there's any changes to the depth chart we want to make, um, or at least how that's going to impact us for this game. But other than that, I'm not expecting a whole lot. We don't really match up well with a lot of rosters, so it's really going to be on us making every critical play we possibly can. All right, there we go. All right, so let's take a look first at what our lineup is going to be. So Darrelle Roberts, the cornerback, and Jamison Crowder, I believe, got injured. Yes. So we'll be rolling with five wide receivers. Still rolling out Robbie Anderson, Quincy Enunwa. Deontay Burnett is actually going to get a bump up. And then we know Bellamy and Deontay Thompson are behind him. As far as cornerback goes, Brandon Carr, Brian Poole, Perry Nickerson's going to have to bump up. Um, I might even consider, because I'd rather keep Poole in the slot, we'll put Perry Nickerson at the 2 for now. And then we need to take a Deontay Burnett leading the way, Josh Bellamy, and then Deontay Burnett backing up there. And slot cornerback still going to be Brian Poole. We can get him back in a couple weeks. We're going to go ahead and have Blesson play the backup role there just to get that bit of experience, and then advantage of Terrence Brooks. Now, let's see what the depth chart for Cleveland is looking like before we dive into the game. Okay, so Baker Mayfield, he's an 84 overall after his rookie season. Pretty solid speed, pretty high strength for a quarterback, actually. 93 throwing power, though. His accuracy is pretty on par. It's about as good as you can ask for a quarterback coming in. Um, his second season in the league, sophomore year. So 89, 83, 90. He can throw on the run. He throws under pressure really well, and he can run play action. So he's a pretty solid threat as far as quarterbacks go. We're going to have our hands full. Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb has been a monster since he came in. I would not mind having him on the team if it presented itself as an option down the line. Nick Bellore. Odell Beckham Jr. is the big name there in the wide receiver core, but they also have the Jarvis Landry. He's not playing the slot position, so we'll see kind of how they plan to roll him out. Antonio Callaway, though, another young playmaker. Rashard Higgins. So they've been trying to build the roster up pretty well. Tight end David Njoku, very athletic. Demetrius Harris and Seth doing some damage. So we need to really be careful of our coverages. We got crushed during the first game of this season with plays all over the middle by Buffalo. So it's probably going to be more of that. The offensive line is where there's a few leaks, starting with Greg Robinson. But then Joel Batonio, J.C. Treader is there. Austin Corbett, we may be able to take advantage of. He doesn't have the best pass block. Um, and then Chris Hubbard on the right hand side. Defense is pretty spectacular. So Olivier Vernon came over, holding down the fort, paired with Myles Garrett. We'll see how he responds in the game to us not including the superstar and zone traits or special abilities, I guess, for them. Because he can easily rack up about 6 sacks in a game, and this is against a solid offensive line. Ours is like having a fun pass or something at Six Flags. It's going to be, a turnstile all day long. Sheldon Richardson, though, in the middle, and he's showing that he can still be a dominant player in the league. Jernard Avery on the end. Sion Takitaki is an interesting rookie. I liked him a little bit when I was kind of running through some of his draft profiles and stuff at the time. Joe Schobert or Scobert, either way, coverage linebacker really well, but we might be able to take advantage of the backups there. Christian Kirksey on the other end, Denzel Ward, Terrence Mitchell, TJ Carey. If you take a look, they got the rookie Greedy Williams, and he actually has one of the best coverage traits of not just any cornerback that's come into the league, but overall, he's really strong coming in. So hopefully they give him some more playing time down the line. I'd rather not see him very much today. Demarius Randall and then Morgan Burnett leading the way there. So we have a long, long day ahead of us. But let's go ahead and get into it. And hopefully we can have some more surprise magic. The Deontay Burnett connection was not one I was expecting to be as effective as it was. So maybe we can get more of that. Robbie Anderson, as you can see there, 3 receptions, 35 yards in the season debut. I think we will be moving on from him sooner than later. The running backs, there's no point in really even trying to make any kind of crazy moves because we don't have the offensive line to support any talent whatsoever. I doubt a Hall of Fame running back would even be able to assist us the way we need, uh, the way we've been playing so far. So it's returned to the 28, and this will be where things start off for us today. Baker Mayfield, 5 touchdowns in the season debut. We probably should have took a look at who they played. If I would have known those were his stats coming in, I definitely would have took a look at that. Okay, a little play action to start off. They immediately attack the middle. Not a crazy play. 7 yards though. And Odell Beckham already capturing his first reception of the game. We potentially were going to get a little bit of pressure there before we got pushed out of the play. So they've already made a conversion on their first running play. This might be holding. And yeah, so this will be coming back. Joel Batonio holding. That might have been against Quinnen Williams. We'll see if he can have an impact during this game. He was only able to get a tackle for loss. I confused a sack originally with him for Jamal Adams. We'll see if he has any kind of pass rush capabilities during this game. I don't know how often we actually used him in that role in the first game. Another running play. We're going to be looking at about 3rd and 13 or 3rd and 14. So we hold them to having to complete a long complete. They need to get a long completion this go around. I can't talk tonight. Work has been crazy today. Okay, and oddly enough, they go to try and complete getting a first down doing a run play. They did pick up 4 tough yards, but we were ultimately able to get them down. So far so good. Early conversion, but we were able to make up for it due to some strange play calling for them. So maybe they were just testing if they were going to have their way with us in the run and passing game today. We're close to getting our first look at what the offense today may look like. The punt is in the air. We aren't going to return it, and they don't get a favorable bounce, so we will be starting from the 20-yard line. Not as spectacular as Baker Mayfield, but we did do 242 and 1 touchdown. At least we did not throw or lose any interceptions or picks. First play of the day is going to be a pass, and we settle for the easy completion with Chris Herndon, who's able to find a little bit of space and outrun his opponent a bit for 11 yards. Okay, we try to get Quincy Enunwa. That ends up getting broken up. The defense here is a little bit stronger cornerback wise, I want to say. Maybe just overall depth. Um, Levi Wallace is about on par with, who was it, TJ Carey for them. We take a deep shot, and that gets knocked down. We didn't really try to test the defense at all during the Buffalo Bills game, so maybe this is a good omen of us hopefully letting loose a bit. Robbie Anderson didn't really get for all the actually 2 of the 3 catches that he had, they were kind of catch on the runs. We just happened to get him on some good slant plays against bad coverage. Dropping back once again, and the ball looks like it may have been knocked down before it was able to get to its intended target and Ty Montgomery. So the running backs have been very active so far with the scheme that we've chosen and how we've been running the plays out. If they're not going to be effective in the running department, then it at least suits us well that they're effective somewhat in the receiving. Once we can get better hold of talent and everything, I don't think it's going to be as serious as an issue for us, but we do need to definitely overhaul that position. Everyone is either not extremely talented in one area um, or they're old. We don't really have a whole lot of pieces necessarily that you can say without a doubt you're going to build around. Okay, we get a fumble there. I think that was Jamal Adams able to rip one loose. We get it right back. Excellent field position. 20 yards to go before we hit pay dirt. And that was Jamal Adams tracking it down and just kind of ripping it loose. It would be crazy if we were able to see something reminiscent of what he did to Daniel Jones from the Giants, where he he basically snatched the candy right out of his hand and took it to the end zone. We do have him as a blue chip as well. We'll still take a look at potentially being able to bring in Orlando Sr. I'm really stuck on that idea of being able to use him to anchor our line, which will open up plans for us in the draft. We go for a run play, and we pick up 3 yards on it. This might have been our first established decent run early in the game. So far this season, it took like 7 attempts the first go around in order for us to even get a positive yard. Eli McGuire gets one out of the backfield for us, though, and we aren't able to take full advantage of the easy turnover in the red zone. So that's another thing for us to keep an eye on. How effective are we once we can finally get down here? The other half of it is how often are we actually going to make it this far? We'll see if we pull out another trick play. We had one in the season debut, and the kicker was able to toss a beautiful pass to Herndon. I thought it might have been our backup Simeon, but it ended up being our kicker. And Chris Herndon was able to take that to the house. But we settled for the actual field goal here to put us up 3-0. And for the second time this season already, actually, we've had a lead. It's very small. Cleveland can probably overcome it really quick. Um, but I wasn't expecting us to really have a lead in any games whatsoever. And for all intents and purposes, the game in the first week was actually pretty close, only a 21-14 defeat. And it didn't feel like we were being absolutely destroyed at any point. We were just letting up way too many chunk yardage plays. Okay, they get a running play. They make some maneuvers. They do pick up about 7 yards. They give them 6. Kareem Hunt making moves for the day. We'll see when they decide to switch things up with Nick Chubb. We do get a little bit of a stop here, though. So 3rd and 5. We'll see if we can get them to go 3 and out. And Ja'Kai Polite looks like he's able to get in on a play here early, whereas both him and Jordan Jenkins were pretty much non-existent against the Buffalo Bills. Ja'Kai Polite picking up a tackle in the third quarter, and Jordan Jenkins picking up his in the fourth. So that was pretty disappointing to see, especially them being our first stringers. Coverage a bit lax. So they are able to convert once again, and that's Jarvis Landry flexing a bit out there. So these are some things that running a 3-4 defense, I like a little bit of a mixture, but I do like pretty consistent man coverage. Um, CJ Mosley getting a stop in there. He's been pretty effective for us. I wasn't expecting a whole lot because he doesn't have a great supporting core around him, but he's standing out for sure. Um, I think for sure during the off season that'll be a huge thing that we do during our streams, where we might go ahead and recreate our own playbooks for offense and defense, and we'll kind of continue to change those throughout the seasons as we have talent come in, leave, retire, things like that. I think that'll be a fun twist that I haven't seen on many franchises so far. Let me know if you guys have any particular plays that you specifically like. Um, for a 3-4 or a 4-3, I kind of want to make it like a hybrid, but definitely a lot of 3-4 principles in it. All right, brand new set of downs for Cleveland. Mayfield's dropping back once again. The middle of the field just tends to be open continuously for whoever just happens to stroll that way. Potentially could have had a stop there. I'm not sure who that was that came off the edge that whiffed. What I can say I'm noticing just based on the eye test, though, is it seems like we're lacking speed. And that's Brandon Carr there that was able to come up and make a solid tackle. Otherwise, there was a little bit of open field. And you can see based on the way that our roster makeup is, it's kind of forcing us into a 4-3 either way. I've noticed that with Madden actually quite a bit. It doesn't seem like it matters all the time which formations you're wanting to choose. If you have more talent at one position or the other, it seems like it's going to default to that. So Kareem Hunt's been dancing a little bit, but he only has 22 yards on 8 carries. So he's not giving us the hurting I expected so far. They throw one to the outside, and he can't really get an edge to convert. So Cleveland is going to take an attempt at a field goal to tie things up with the first quarter slowly coming to an end, and they are able to convert that. So we're tied up at three. There has not been any splash plays at all. And this is something I'm actually pretty happy about. Cleveland seems like they were able to move pretty quickly down the field here, but we're making the stops and the plays that we need to. So I wonder who's going to break something off first. You have to put your money on Cleveland if you're a smart betting man. Uh, but I mean, we pulled a couple tricks out the bag in week one that I did not think we would get into so early in the season. It's part of the reason why I like seeing simulations. I don't really care to choose the plays myself anymore. I did when I was playing online and things, but it's just kind of burnt out. Quincy Enunwa gets his first catch on the night, though. Cleveland is going to challenge it. It looked to me like he got both feet in, but that was not the best angle. Let's see if we can get a better one. Yeah, it looks like he did a little Tony toe tap there, giving us his best Antonio Brown. And it stands. So Cleveland loses a first down. Loses their first time out. And we keep possession of the ball. Brand new set of downs. Middle of the field, Robbie Anderson getting his first catch of the night, and that goes for about 11 to 12 yards. Not many rushing plays so far. And as we mentioned that, we attempt to do what we can, and Ty Montgomery gets swallowed up in the backfield. So I think it was a smart move moving Brandon Shell over to the left side, but we did lose any kind of run capabilities that we potentially could have had. Um, when we traded the original starter at the position, and I'm drawing a blank right now, it wasn't Ben Ijalana, whatever his last name was, but it wasn't him. We could have had a pretty solid chunk of yards there. Chris Herndon wasn't able to hold on to the ball, though. He got stuck in the middle of the field with a pretty hard hit. Sam Darnold dropping back once again, and he walks himself into the arms of Myles Garrett, who gets his first sack of the night. I'm surprised it took this long, but hopefully that's not a sign of things to come for the night. You can see Doga there was trying his best in order to keep things at bay there. Just that slight movement from Sam Darnold to the right, though, just kind of sealed the fate there for us. All in all, though, end of the first quarter, and things seem pretty balanced between the two teams. Kick goes up. We don't get the friendly bounce, and Cleveland is going to start from the 20-yard line to begin the second quarter. Right, Mayfield's dropping back, little quick three-step drop. And they haven't been able to do much. He's been really effective. Actually, even Josh Allen was, and he had pretty terrible accuracy stats. Um, that's something that we'll need to see if it drastically changes as we bring in talent, or if we need to change anything with the sliders. Because so far, we haven't either reacted to anything extremely well, or they've just been throwing darts left and right. Jamal Adams having one of his few whiffs on a tackle there. Okay, a little bit of a lane, and Kareem Hunt takes it to the tune of 7 yards. Perry Nickerson was able to get in there. And we get a false start. Beautiful. All the yards they essentially gained, they just gave back to us. So 2nd and 8. They choose to run it, and Jordan Jenkins coming off the edge had no one there to stop him. He picks up his first tackle of the game. So once again, not much of an impact so far. First quarter empty for him. He finally gets on the stat sheet at least. And they did get some hands on him, actually. A little bump there, and then they decided to switch to someone else. So the right tackle didn't seem like he was one of the best ones, only a 71 overall, but he seemed like he had pretty solid running stats, so maybe his awareness is low. And Jamal Adams had the opportunity to potentially take one to the house there if he just went for the pick instead of knocking it down. And that was the opportunity we would have needed if we wanted to take any kind of control of the game. You can see he pretty much read the flats the entire time. I wonder how he'll progress as a player once we're able to get his zone abilities up maybe a little bit more. I think his catching might even be in like the 20 or 30s. And no way, Cleveland gets a once in a lifetime bounce there. I'm pretty sure that crossed the line. I know we're probably not going to challenge it. Yeah, that definitely looked like it hit or crossed. They they start us off at the 1, so now I have to be worried about us potentially getting a safety here and giving the ball back up to them because we know that we're probably going to lose yards if this is a run play. And luckily for us, Jalen Moore was able to fall forward a bit into the arms of his defender. It gave us a little bit of breathing room. We go for back-to-back running plays, and this is the most effective play of the season. And then it's taken back due to a hold. Eric Tomlinson, the tight end, had his hands full, and that's one of the things that it kills you a little bit because that would have been the momentum we needed. We try play action here. There might have been another holding, and Sam Darnold just decides to do the smart thing and throw that one away after he can't find anybody open. Chuma Edoga starting once again at the 2nd, 3rd and 8. Play action once again. Sam Darnold tried to throw a quick dart. That one was read the entire time by the defender, and things are not looking great for us. 4 for 10, 37 yards moving into the second quarter. This is the way Buffalo started too. We did have a lot more run plays. So, interesting game that the offensive coordinator put together. Maybe things will pick up as we do our adjustments in the second half. They put a move on us. They're going to start from our side of the field on the 49. So they've been pretty much winning the field battle the entire time from start to finish. All right, Kareem Hunt with another carry. They go for 2 yards. Really impressed with our running defense so far. I thought we'd have a lot more trouble with them than we have been. Kareem Hunt's bouncing off people a little bit. He finds his way to give Cleveland a 3rd and 2 that they need to convert. Quinnen Williams getting the stop there. And is that Ja'Kai Polite coming off the edge again? Yes, it is. 3 tackles so far in the game. That is his 2nd tackle for loss and a much better outing this time around so far. Now you have to imagine if we keep Leonard Williams, and I believe he'll probably want to extend his contract this year. Um, and if Quentin Williams continues to develop, especially at a quicker rate this season with that hidden development, um, if we can find some solid edge pieces, that'll be the perfect complement. We haven't really had a speed rusher in a long time. And the last really effective one we had was like Calvin Pace with his 10 and a half sacks towards like the end of his tenure with us. But he wasn't a speed rusher by any means. He just kind of feels a little Jordan Jenkins-esque. He kind of fell into a lot of sacks, but he was mostly a power rusher. Oh, very close to a safety. Ty Montgomery was just able to get tripped up and find his way out of the end zone. And the punter's been doing a pretty magnificent job for Cleveland so far. All right, so we stacked the right side. Jalen Moore didn't seem to like what he saw there, opted to go left. Only gave us an extra yard of breathing room. We go for another running play, and this time we make some moves, and Ty Montgomery's in the open field. I don't know if they're going to be able to track him down. We get our first explosive play of the season, 98-yard touchdown by Montgomery on a ridiculous juke, and the pursuit angles were just terrible. Now, this was pretty much all Ty Montgomery. Solid block there by Robbie Anderson, but otherwise, Montgomery made every move he possibly could to take that to the house. I don't think we've had a play like that in forever since we had Sean McKnight or Sean Green and Joe McKnight in the backfield when Bilal Powell was a lot younger. We convert the PAT and we go up 10-3. Now, last time we had this opportunity with Buffalo, they pretty much turned around and scored instantly. So Montgomery puts on the moves, and we get another highlight reel touchdown. So we have the trick play from week one. For week two with Cleveland, we have Montgomery and his crazy 98-yard touchdown run. Even if we lose every game this season, I would gracefully accept the L's as long as we can get some kind of highlight touchdown each game. All right, Kareem Hunt trying to follow behind his men. He picks up quite a few yards there. It looks like Leonard Williams got in on the stop. Baker Mayfield, quick drop into the flats again. They do convert. Ja'Kai Polite not able to get to him before. So far, Cleveland seems like it's been running a really vanilla offense. They haven't really taken shots in the middle. Granted, it's beginning of the season, but I think that should be a huge red flag based on them doing any kind of decent scouting job. We might have an upset win on our hands here. I don't want to call it early, but things are looking good. David Njoku with 6 receptions already today. They haven't been the most effective yards, though. We found a breakthrough right there, but Kareem Hunt finds some room off the right-hand side. And potentially scared me there for a little bit. I know that we don't quite have the speed to go and hunt anybody down. Unless Jamal Adams is in area. Marcus May is actually a little sneaky quick, too. They find wide open space this time around. Kareem Hunt looks like he's starting to heat up a little bit. Maybe that Ty Montgomery run got him inspired. Ooh, I can't believe we had three defenders that missed having a chance to take Deion Johnson down much sooner. Terrible for us. Blake Cashman getting in there though. CJ Mosley getting bucked. He that was not a good look on the film for him. Once again, attacking the flats, and if it hasn't been a play like this where the defender makes a move, it seems like things have just not gone Cleveland's way so far today. MPG, my boy. So as you can see, 3-10. The offenses have both been playing pretty crappy, all things considered. But you missed a huge 98-yard run from Ty Montgomery, basically from our end zone towards the middle of the second quarter. So that was a huge bit of success for us. Another shot to the flats. They haven't really taken any shots over the middle since the beginning of the first quarter. Baker Mayfield seems like he's playing a bit scared. Maybe their plan was to just focus on the cornerbacks and not necessarily attack the linebackers, which it's easier to defend the boundaries, I would say, than the open middle section of the field. So strange. Odell Beckham only getting his second reception of the game. I thought he might have piled on more after that catch in the first quarter. But so far, between just the way they've been targeting the tight ends and Perry Nickerson having to guard him, he's done fairly well. Not quite sure why Nickerson is actually on him when Brandon Carr should be, though. A shot to the end zone, and it was just out of play for them. Couldn't keep their feet in bounds. We might have lucked out on that one. Quick rollout on play action seemed pretty effective for them. They finally go for the middle of the field again. 6 seconds left. They call a timeout, and they're going to opt to just settle for a field goal, something Buffalo did not attempt to do in the first season. So it looks like we'll be taking a 10-6 lead into halftime. And who would have thought that we'd be up? It's only 10-6, but a miracle play by Ty Montgomery saves us from looking like the worst offense in the league at the moment. At least padding our stats, if nothing else. We get a chance to return this kickoff. I don't think we'll have any success or any highlights there when it comes to a kickoff return. It's hard to have one even when you have a really good depth and starter team put together. So we'll see. Going into halftime, though, we have a whopping 29 passing yards. That lets you know how much of a monster Sam Darnold has been for us. Baltimore handing Arizona a pretty handy defeat. New England takes out Miami. And I don't see Buffalo. Oh, there we go. Buffalo actually gets a chance to even out, go up 2-0 on their record, taking out the Giants. So an interdivision rival taking out another rival, and then we have the Buffalo Bills looking like they're going to be the standout team in the division. Let's get back into the start of our second half. We'll see what kind of adjustments we make. We're going to start off with the ball. And hopefully Sam Darnold can get back to what he did against the Buffalo Bills in the second half, where he pretty much put up the 200 plus yards. Actually, I think he might have finished with like 60 something in the first half. Probably put up about 180-ish in the second. We did throw a lot more often than expected. 31 passes overall, but I think we had a pretty good balance between the run and pass. We start off the second half though, and it looks like we are going to run. We only get 1 yard. But Ty Montgomery might be the first running back to crack 100 yards for us this season. Delayed handoff. And with that, Elijah McGuire is able to pick up 8 yards for us. Interesting play there. So Deontay Burnett lining up in the Wildcat. Uh, Seems like they were pretty much expecting that based on the formation because they blew it up. This one never had a chance to succeed unless somebody made another crazy juke move or some kind of impact block for us there. So not the best start to the second half for us. We try to get a little too cute and fancy with it, and we end up getting burned. I'm willing to bet with Orlando Brown, we would have had a much more effective offense so far. That would have given us two strong pieces, and actually, we almost get another really good stop right there. Brandon Carr tried to come flying in like Batman off the edge. He wasn't able to get the ball though. But we would have had Orlando Brown, and then we had was it Brandon Linder that we brought over from the Jaguars to play a center slash guard role moving forward for us, depending on how the draft shakes out. And we should have scouting points actually, so I might end things with us at least taking a look at some potential players we might be able to invest in. If that's the case, I can't remember if we get them in week 3 or week 4. A very idiotic offside. 3rd and 6, so luckily they don't get a free first down. But Ja'Kai Polite just making a very, very, very dumb rookie mistake. Bunch formation. Interesting play call. We had a flats to the right. I think a hook might have even been built into there, but there was a screen coming off the left. Ja'Kai Polite showing a lot more of his skill set here. He was able to shed a block right there. And he makes his way into the backfield once again to give us a stop. He might have 3 or 4 on the game out of his 5 tackles. So we get a 3rd and out from Cleveland, and they're continuing just due to bad play calling, not able to really make anything happen for themselves. We haven't seen much play action. The passing plays that they have done, they've pretty much thrown immediately to the flats. And if they've chosen any screens or anything like that, it seems like we've been able to blow those up pretty quick. So this is a pretty boring game overall. This makes you wonder if Cleveland will actually make it deep into the playoffs. Deontay Burnett only gets his first reception of the game after getting 5 or 6 in game 1 and a touchdown. So pretty non-existent so far for himself. We get another delayed handoff. There's another move there from Ty Montgomery, and he's over the 100-yard mark on just 6 carries. Another running play. Ty Montgomery making moves. He's in the open field again. He's not going to get caught. Is he? Oh, he gets tracked down. He's got 171 yards, though. 64 yards after contact. This is a ridiculous game for him. We've seen him take advantage of very poor pursuit angles, and he's just made moves happen. I wonder who that was that tracked him down just now because they were not able to catch him on his first touchdown run. He almost gets his second here, so maybe he'll cap things off. We'll see how we decide to attack the red zone. Denzel Ward was the player that captured him. Play action, we run right into the arms of Demarius Randall, so they have a free safety blitz that ends up being pretty effective for them, and he just never seen it. Something hopefully we continue to get better at, or Sam Darnold specifically, in terms of recognizing what the defense is trying to do. We back up to the 9-yard mark. Another running play. And this time we give it to Trenton Cannon. He wasn't able to make anything happen with it. So we back up once again a little bit more to the 10-yard mark. And at this point, we probably have to take a shot off at least play action, if not a straight passing play, and see if we can't cap things off with a touchdown here. It'll be pretty disappointing after we got stopped at the 1. All right, and we do indeed go with a passing play, but we don't take a shot at the end zone. Sam Darnold decides to try to make his running back make a play of it, and Elijah McGuire just had nowhere to go. So we settle for a field goal, going up 13-6. We are a full possession ahead of the Cleveland Browns, and Ty Montgomery having an absolutely monster game. If he can break off another chunk play, he might go over 200 yards. And yet, we still might lose the game or win, and probably be the first team to do so throwing less than 50 yards in the game. Cleveland Browns starting from the 25 after not deciding to go with the kickoff. Kareem Hunt having a pretty solid game himself, 18 rushes, 54 yards. We've done pretty well as a whole, trying to keep him contained. We haven't seen much of Nick Chubb, though. Thought they'd probably have a better rotation with bringing him in. Quick play to the outside. Perry Nickerson is all over it to they counted as a rush. I guess it was behind the line of scrimmage. But Perry Nickerson stopping Odell Beckham Jr. from potentially trying to make a move. And this is a little bit of what I like a lot about Perry Nickerson. He has that speed and just some of those traits that really stand out. If he happened to be maybe just a few inches taller, he'd probably be a excellent prototype cornerback, but still serviceable at 5'10". CJ Mosley picking up his 8th of the game. He pretty much just read that the entire way. No blocks, no nothing. So 3rd and 18, and Cleveland continues to have a very bad time. Baker Mayfield running into the arms of his defender there. CJ Mosley picks up his first sack of the season, I believe. 2 tackles for loss, a sack on his way to 8 full tackles of the game. And taking a look at the first game in this game so far, I would have to say by default, Ty Montgomery definitely deserves to be the player of the game. He might be the most impactful player of the season, at least on offense. We haven't had anybody else that's really stood out. Quincy Enunwa having the best chemistry with Sam Darnold so far. Potentially Chris Herndon as well as the safety net. But Ty Montgomery has made the splash plays. He wasn't really effective at all. And we get a very good punt return this time around. And that's coming from number 16. I do not remember who that may be. Cleveland is really playing down to the talent level. There's no reason why we should be in the game like this. And not only this, but potentially getting ready to dominate at that. Game slowly getting out of hand for Cleveland. We're starting off at the 37, and we do a play action, see if we can't take advantage of these chunk run plays we've been getting. Sam Darnold tried to target the end zone. That was Robbie Anderson, and The cornerback or safety just makes a last minute play on the ball. Robbie Anderson waited too long to see if it was going to come to him. Ty Montgomery taking another rush there, but this time it gets stopped by TJ Carey. Those are the kind of plays we need to take advantage of, and this is why I don't think Robbie Anderson just meshes well with some reason with what we try to do. He has enough catching traffic and stuff to where that should not have been a problem for him. And yet, less likely than more often, he's not going to come down with that ball. Screenplay that seemed like it was doomed to fail from the start. And we're going to be turning the ball back over. I don't believe we'll be doing a kickoff from the 42-yard mark. Yeah, poorly developing play. McGuire had no chance to do anything whatsoever there. We're going to opt to try to kick it anyways. I don't think Catanzaro has that much leg strength. And he does not. He's probably about a good 6 to 7 yards short of making that happen. Way too much trust in the kicker here. And at this point, these are the kind of boneheaded mistakes that could cost us the game again. Buffalo had that special teams touchdown in week 1 that pretty much flipped the script on us. I'm hoping we don't have anything like that this time around. While I don't mind trying to get as high of a draft pick as possible, and it's still very possible that this could potentially be our only win of the season. But we know what our roster looks like, and at best, maybe a 2-win season. Cleveland Brown should not have been one of those teams after taking a look at the depth chart. But this will be good experience for those that stood out, mostly on defense. And CJ Mosley lights Kareem Hunt up there. Another run play. And this is going to finally be taken down. Kareem Hunt found him a little seam, made a little shifty move himself. Perry Nickerson was finally able to get to him, though, to save the touchdown, which would have potentially tied up the game. They had pretty effective blocking on this particular running concept here. Jamal Adams not able to secure the tackle there, which could have at least saved us a couple yards back. And we get into the backfield pretty much immediately. Leonard Williams there making a stop. Nick Chubb's first carry comes towards the end of the third quarter. Really interesting. Even Deion Johnson has been able to get in prior to Nick Chubb finally getting his hands on the ball. Another handoff, and once again, another stop by one of our players, and this time it's the young rookie Blake Cashman. We haven't noticed his name much at all, which, as a defensive player, is not necessarily a good thing. Two tackles on the game so far for Cashman, and we might try to give some opportunities to someone else. We see a missile tackle come in there that causes the ball to get jarred loose a little bit, but they're able to recover it. And that was CJ Mosley coming in. It looks like his shoulder just connected with the ball right at the right spot. And they're going to try to take advantage of being in the red zone territory here. Middle of the field, they attack it. I don't know if they had enough. And it looks like the ball is going to come back to the Jets as Cleveland could not convert on one of the few plays they've tried over the middle. This has been a standout game by the New York Jets. The defense has really stepped up. We've had a lot of opportunities for turnovers via fumbles, um, at least one or two opportunities for interceptions that we couldn't take advantage of. And the running game's really been supporting us. Sam Darnold has been pretty much a ghost. Probably his first completion since maybe the end of the second quarter, maybe early third quarter. That gets us out of worrying about having a safety, though, at least. Back to the running game, which has been our bread and butter, and Ty Montgomery once again knifing through the lane. 9 rushes, 185 yards on the game. He might have a record for least amount of carries to reach a 200-yard mark in NFL history by far. Ty Montgomery on what could be a very disastrous season for us, potentially in the record books. We seen the 64 yards after contact maybe 3 rushes ago. We do another wildcat formation. This time Deontay Burnett does have some success running off to the right-hand side. So he has 1 reception, and he has 2 rushes for 6 yards overall. Very interesting play calling we have here with our offensive coordinator. We have the Atlanta playbook, and I know they don't really have anything like that in there, or at least nothing that they utilize. Once again, Deontay Burnett taking another carry, so he has 3 yards and 12 rushes. Excuse me, 3 rushes and 12 yards. And at this point, we're just saying we know you can't stop me. And I think if we didn't have the spin move, Ty Montgomery would have been taking that one to the house. Yeah, Herndon had the slight block just to hold up the player. They lucked out that we couldn't get out of the next tackle attempt as we kind of got caught up with Herndon. You can see Baker Mayfield stressing out on the sideline. He knows that he has completely underplayed his team for the course of this entire game for the most part. We take a shot here, and Quincy Enunwa, he tried to use that big body frame to secure us a pretty solid reception. Delayed handoff. Elijah McGuire trying to get in on some of the hype today. 3 carries, 14 yards rushing. 3rd and 6. We throw out of the backfield. Elijah McGuire makes a move. 2 players miss, and we pick up another conversion. If we can score here, we're pretty much putting the Cleveland Browns to bed for the night. What an outstanding game from some unlikely playmakers today. And I will give it to the offensive line. I really thought we weren't going to have any. Been very close to what I was expecting the rushing stats to be. And we find Robbie Anderson. He makes a move. Another person ends up on the floor. And we are. So Robbie Anderson contributed again a little bit for what it's worth today. He still did have that costly drop. I'm going to call it a drop. It got knocked out of his hands, but he should have had that ball in the end zone in the 3rd quarter on one of the few deep passes that we tried to take. And we actually have taken 2 shots for him during this game. The first one probably ill-advised. Quick drop. And Sam Darnold finds what I believe was, okay, so we have Thompson there. 2nd touchdown for Darnold on the season. Bellamy setting kind of a nice pick for his player there right in front of him, as Burnett just wasn't able to get any kind of wiggle room there to even attempt to make a play on the ball. And that's probably going to be a nightcap for the Browns, folks, unless they really come out guns blazing for these next few drives. If they get that many, the New York Jets will have secured their first win of the season. And I would take winning in any facet. I don't think it'd be believable if we went past, 2 or 3 wins. But every little bit counts. I would not be mad whatsoever. Right? Nice stop. Cleveland's going to be looking to run the length of the field as they start from the 24-yard line. Let's see what Baker Mayfield does in terms of changing his style up so far, because he's been very conservative on the night. Dropping back to the flats once again. And David Njoku might have a lot of receptions on the night, but this is exactly the reason why they're in the hole they're in now. They haven't let the playmakers Landry and Odell Beckham do what they do best, which is make plays, and it shows. CJ Mosley is only one man. They still have Jordan Jenkins, who's not a coverage linebacker, Ja'Kai Polite, who's not a coverage linebacker, and then we have the young Blake Cashman, who's pretty much whiffing and making mistakes often enough. And Odell Beckham, on his first realistic throw in quite some time, he's able to pick up a chunk of yards there to make it a 3rd and 2 that they need to convert here. 5 receptions, 24 yards on the night. They attack the middle once again. They do pick up the conversion to give them a brand new set of downs. We'll see if they try to take any shots. David Njoku hits double digits. He's at 12 receptions for the night. Now, even with Baker Mayfield and his offense playing as poorly as they have, which you got to say poorly loosely, because outside of fumbles, it's not like they've done anything hectic. They just aren't putting up anything explosive or really taking advantage of what we're probably giving them. You can see there another pass to the flat. Um, Sam Darnold still looks in comparison a lot worse. I believe we haven't even cracked 70 or 80 yards. He finally fires another one on what I believe was a comeback route. They do get the conversion. Antonio Callaway picks up his first reception of the night. Baker Mayfield trying to make something happen. He takes too long. Leonard Williams able to get in there and get himself a sack on the night. I'll be paying a little bit more attention to where I can see Quinnen Williams lining up and kind of how he's doing. You can see he's fighting a double team there, and he's actually getting some pressure, moving the pocket a bit, forcing Mayfield to have to step up or maneuver. You can see the defense probably tired, frustrated that they've been beaten the way they've been beaten. We should not be putting up over 200 yards rushing as a team on any team this season. Consider who we have blocking in front of these people. And Ja'Kai Polite is able to find his way into the backfield as now Baker Mayfield probably feeling the pressure more to make something happen towards the end of the game, holding on to the ball way too much. And we're just letting things come naturally to us now. Our players don't have to worry about the stress of giving up a big play with, disastrous results following. And that has to be a sense of relief for them. We know what the expectations on the season have looked like. We'll see if this is a snowball effect. With our next game, we'll see who our opponent happens to be. And CJ Mosley finds his way into the backfield again on a stunt in the middle. Now, I don't see why it would happen, but we'll see if they try to keep their offense on the field for this 4th down. Highly unlikely they make it, and they have to know by now they're probably not going to score 2 touchdowns in less than 3 minutes. And they do decide to keep him on. Let's see if we pin our ears back and try to get after. We do a 4-man rush. And looks like Quentin Williams been targeted quite a bit. Jamal Adams had the potential to get a snag there, but he basically keeps the deep shot there from being a problem for us. So, great field advantage for us. 22 yards to go. We'll probably continue to just rush the ball. Great play by Jamal Adams, who in real life has not had his best days in coverage for the Seahawks since being traded. Another rushing play. Morgan Burnett gets injured for Cleveland, and in the garbage time of the game, that's the worst time to catch an injury to a starter. Play action. Sam Darnold taking a shot over the middle. We haul in the reception there. Robbie Anderson actually showing some catching ability. And he secures that ball between 2 defenders. So nice throw from Darnold. Nice special catch there from Robbie Anderson, the one-hander. Ward draped all over him. That's actually a pretty impressive play for him. Where was this when we needed it? You can see the defense. They're raring to close out the game on a high note. And that's that veteran leadership trying to spark some of the younger players that we have sprinkled throughout the roster. Rushing play. Ty Montgomery not able to find any room there. And we hit the 2-minute warning mark. We're going to try to finish off this game with a bang. Fullback rush. Dimitri Flowers finds his first touchdown of the season. He had a fullback rush on a crucial third or fourth down that we needed to convert in the first game. And he wasn't able to find the yards for us, but we get a nice block there from the tight end Tomlinson, and Dimitri Flowers just pretty much walks his way in untouched. So we go deep into our bag of tricks for the game. We've hit Wildcat a few times. A nice fullback dive play there. Some pretty effective play action passes when necessary. A spec catch from Robbie Anderson there. And some pretty amazing running plays from Ty Montgomery. This might be the best job we've had of any passing coordinator in years. So Darrelle Revis seems like he learned a lot of lessons from the first game against the Buffalo Bills, and he got this team ready for Cleveland. Or maybe even with all the talent stacked across the roster, Cleveland just wasn't ready to handle the expectations of finally being a playoff team. And what we're seeing here is them falling back to their old ways. It would be crazy towards the end of the season if we go back to check their roster and they end somewhere around like 3-13. Baker hitting the middle of the field. Tackle not able to get secured there by, I believe that was Brian Poole. And they're pretty much running a 2-minute offense now. Back-to-back receptions. Things are looking a lot better for them. That was Odell Beckham Jr. Baker Mayfield couldn't make the throw on the run there with pressure in his face, but you can immediately see in 2 plays they probably gained as many yards, effective yards through the air as they have all in 1 quarter. If they would have made these kind of plays throughout the course of the game, I'm sure this would be a much, much different outcome. Yeah, where were these shots? Where was this danger from Odell Beckham Jr.? That right there could have been a touchdown. There could have been plenty of other plays like that, and Baker Mayfield just pretty much lobbed a beauty up there and we weren't able to do anything about it. On this play, though, Jamal Adams almost secures another interception. However, those rock hands of his, the Butterfingers, they cause us problems. And we matumbo this one. Leonard Williams going up to make sure that that ball does not make it to where it needs to go. 3rd and 5. Touchdown, an easy touchdown. And Kareem Hunt finally gets into pay dirt today. Not quite the way I necessarily expected or when I expected it. But Cleveland trying to make this final score look as less as as bad of a beating as it is. Hopefully they can make it look like it was somewhat of a close game. This is going to be something that they're going to have to take as fuel for the rest of the season for them, and either they learn from it like we did, or they don't. Convert an extra PAT there, and we are up by 2 full possessions still. You can see CJ Mosley talking with Perry Nickerson there. Darrelle Revis goes over to kind of still hammer things into them that we need to finish these games strong, kind of see what happened there. Okay, and Cleveland still has some fight. They try an onside kick, and I think they got it. Cleveland gets the onside kick, and they're really going to try to secure another touchdown here. Baker Mayfield dropping back. This one in the flat. This one only goes for 3. They are able to get out of bounds. Empty backfield. Another target over the middle. This time, though, Brandon Carr was able to make a hit strong enough to jar the ball loose. Okay, we might get a coverage sack. That doesn't tend to be the case. And in fact, he actually was able to buy enough time to find Njoku for his 15th reception of the game. And he steps out of bounds. That might be a record in the NFL. I know Brandon Marshall broke it at 14, I believe, right? It might have been something crazy like 21 catches, but Baker Mayfield dropping back once again. And yes, in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, they've been more effective than they literally have been throughout the entire duration of the game. Where was this version of the offense at all day? They have to fire somebody after a game like this. Teams like to talk in the pressers about the teams that rank at the bottom, hyping them up so they don't have any kind of fuel throughout the course of the game. But we all know, like a bottom dweller, when we see one, and when you get handed an L like this one, that's not a good look for anybody. Can't secure the tackle there, but we're still able to keep it to a minimum of a 1 yard gain. And Baker Mayfield was able to come out with a respectable stat line, a touchdown. He's probably going to finish probably shy of, what was it, 350 yards, it looked like. Brandon Copeland gets a sack. Sack party for everybody. And the Browns are going to go home after taking a trip to Meadowlands and getting it handed to them. They have to be upset with themselves. Let's take a look at the stat breakdown for us. 44 attempts by Baker compared to 20 for us. We only get 97 yards. We don't even crack 100. 1 touchdown, 60% completion. Baker Mayfield was close to 250, not 350. 81 completions, though, or 81% completion. Nobody tosses any interceptions. 195 yards on just 11 carries for Ty Montgomery. He gets a touchdown. He broke 3 tackles. yards after contact. He finishes with 80 to 20 plus yard runs. Jalen Moore, he does 6 yards. Deontay Burnett on the Wildcat runs gets 12. Elijah McGuire showed a bit, and then Dimitri Flowers is able to get in there. 8 yards for Elijah McGuire as he finishes with the most receptions on our team. 46 for Anderson. He had the opportunity to have a much better stat line. Quincy Anunwa, and then Deontay Thompson finds pay dirt for us. Only one sack given up during the game, which is a surprise, and that was for Chuma Edoga. C.J. Mosley, Nickerson, and Polite lead the way. Getting into the backfield, Jakai and Mosley the most, and then 2 sacks for Mosley, one for Copeland, one for Williams, and one for Polite on our way to a 5 yard sack performance game. So we did extremely well. Very, very impressive game for us. I have high hopes for a few people after seeing some bounce back games from the like of Jakai Polite, seeing CJ Mosley continue to be dominant for the team, regardless of the others around him. And we get a nice little bit of extra boost. We win the game, so we get a bit of experience there. And we get our first career win for Darrelle Revis. We got some points to increase here. And for Brandon Carr, let's see. Man coverage and zone coverage is pretty fine, so we're just going to continue to pour this into man. +2 man coverage, perfect, and +2 press. It's about as good as you can ask for out of a package. So he goes up to 84 and 93. And then Ty Montgomery, after his huge game, we're just going to continue to increase his elusiveness. Agility +2 awareness. Okay, so nothing crazy there, but very, very, very good game. I'm happy with this. So we get an important win. Congrats on the victory. Coach, early season wins are so important for momentum and team morale. This was definitely one you can build on. Good luck, and we'll talk soon. We also won the game, so we should get a little bit of experience here. Nice win, Coach. Garrett did his best to shut us down, but it wasn't enough. 1,000 XP for the entire offensive line. And let's continue into the next week. We'll see if we finally have a couple scouting points to see what we may be looking at for the season. Hopefully, the offensive line is a strength in this draft as well. So, breakout player potential. First, let's check out the weekly awards. So Ty Montgomery doesn't have the chance, but C.J. Mosley, after his 12 tackle, 2 sack, and a fumble performance, shows up. So he'll get a bit of an experience boost there. Breakout player. This is for Ty Montgomery. We'll see what they want him to do. So he needs 2 touchdowns or over 100 yards rushing and receiving. X Factor quarterback, as we're playing Tom Brady. Pretty much as I mentioned before, I just pretty much choose disregard them every time so that I only have to worry about winning the game. And they have an X Factor, Stephon Gilmore. Okay, so we do get some scouting. We actually have an offer for Jordan Jenkins somehow. He hasn't had a great start to the season. Let's see. These must be some teams hurting for either depth or just a solid player that can come in. We can continue to build our stable of second round draft picks, at least for the future. So let's see. A third next year, a three this year. We can get a fourth this year and a fourth next year. A fourth, a second next year, or a second next year. Kind of like the option of having some extra fours. Let's hold off. Let's do the development real quick. right, let's see who we can scout. I'm going to go with the auto-generated rookies. I know there's a few players I know that have created some pretty cool Madden classes before, so that's something that we may take a look at once we get to that time, maybe for the next season. So drop anybody that has draft classes that you actually like. Taking a look at the initial board though, top 5 players, uh, defensive line, tight end, or receiver, and a quarterback. Going into the bottom part of the top 10, we have a linebacker, another quarterback, a safety, and then 2 more linebackers. So positions of strengths for us for sure, or positions of need, anyways. The linebackers. We could also opt to try to secure our quarterback of the future, maybe. Um, or we can try to continue to make the defensive line a strength for us. Right now, we don't really have a dominant defensive tackle. We're leaning on Steve McClendon's uh, veteran leadership there. So Sal McGraw, first round quarterback, or left tackle, excuse me. He's only rated in true talent as a third, though, a mid third rounder at that. It looks like we might have a tough time finding someone, but here's a potential player. Braxton Reeves, impact block, run block, pass block power. I'm looking for run block at the guard spots. An early first rounder. And nothing else. That is a bit rough for us. That's not a great look. So I'm going to scout the first 3 rounds essentially at all positions as much as I can. A late third rounder. This is a early second rounder. He's a scheme fit at least, and he does have run block as well as some technical ability. Ouch. So not the best look for us. We might really have to focus on free agency then. Was the Ravens one of the players that put their chips in the pool here? No, they were not. And we took a look at it before. With Orlando Brown Sr., even when I offered 3 first round picks, so every first round pick that we've had, that was not going to get a deal done. We gave them our top 2 receivers, still was not going to get a deal done, and we still offered our first. And the value of our picks actually has probably dropped now since we're not 0-2. We're currently projected pick 10. Let's just go ahead and see if we can't get an offer from the Ravens that maybe is a little bit better again. Right tackle. They still need a middle linebacker. They need a center. They need a right outside linebacker. Wide receiver suddenly is not on the list anymore. Quarterback. And they need a right end. I don't have any pieces on the line really to spare. Could potentially give them Williams. We have his contract for 1 more year. So yeah, he's definitely going to want to re-up this year. Maybe they can just move him to the right side. 2 star players for us, or at least would be star players. I wonder if I offer them one of the picks from next year, one of the ones, if that can get it done. I wonder if our first round pick this year could get it done. Or at least the earlier of the 2 from last year or next year. Okay. Let me see what a second this year does. Okay, not too close. I don't think a first will get it done still either then. We're close. We're about as close as we got before. If I offer all three ones again, what does that compare? Yeah, no. They they're not liking that trade whatsoever. Who else would be options? Maybe Adams and Mosley. I know they don't really need Adams. That might actually be a little bit closer. So we offered them one position of need. We offered them our best player and our top first round pick, and we still. I gotta stop doing that. That's annoying. We still can't get it done. I don't know if we'll be able to pull this off at all at any point during the season, actually. And it'll only get worse as he continues to develop. All right, so they said middle linebacker. Let me see how these two compare. Yeah, they don't care about either one of them. What about Polite? Yeah, no, no way. Um, I just got Brandon Linder. I don't really want to offer him. It defeats the whole purpose really of grabbing Brown as well if we're just gonna trade one piece for another. Quarterback. Ah, man, what do you guys think about these two? Sam Darnold they have a bit more interest in, but it doesn't seem like it's even close. Hmm. Adams definitely gets us a lot closer than where we were. This would be a little ridiculous, so I'm going to try to pad this by saying we need a pick back. Maybe a second. What does it look like with them? Hold on. Let's save first and be on the safe side. All right. Now let's try this trade out. See if we offer them all three of essentially the best players we have on the roster. What that'll do. Two of them being at essentially a position of need for them as well. Keep in mind, I'm not keeping him at right tackle. I am moving him to the left side. Yeah, I can't believe what it is taking for them to want to move. Who has the top pick right now? Okay, so Ravens are actually ahead of us as of now. So that might explain things. It's the Titans. Yeah, I'm not doing anything wild just to get their pick. Okay, so we still can't get Orlando Brown as of now. We've seen who we're able to potentially get on the offensive line, at least a bit. I'm not impressed. So that's going to be a huge concern for us. Not much there for Frankie Louisville. Well, with that said, guys, we will be facing the New England Patriots. We'll take a look at their depth chart and stuff. Worst case scenario, Friday. Again, I'll be taking a look to see if I can try to do a stream nightly. which will always be sometime between 10 and 10:30, maybe 11 at the latest, just depending on how I feel for the night. But that'll pretty much be a wrap on things for today. We'll reconsider these trade offers before we start the next game as well, just to continue to add to our treasure chest. Every little bit helps. If we can target specific players, I don't mind packaging stuff throughout this draft, as it seemed like it might be a bit more defensive heavy, which we'll need to rely on the defense as we build the offense up anyways. So with that said, though, hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Let me know what suggestions you guys have. Um, any players that you're particularly interested in? I know we barely seen the scouting for them, but I'll be interested to see what positions you guys think that we should be taking for the draft. Uh, Offensive line, obviously, but as you've seen, we know that's not a strength of this class. So let me know where you think we should focus our attention or your best options for how you think we might be able to get Orlando Brown Sr. on the squad. That said, though, I will see you guys another night. Appreciate the love. Peace.